she drapes herself over the tip of a narrow peninsula, a beautiful Venetian noblewoman dipping her toes in the warm turquoise waters of the Adriatic. Her shoulders are the gentle hills behind her, clad in olive groves and cypress trees. Her spine is the long, winding ridge that rises to a crown of stone and faith. Her face, turned towards the open sea, is a harmonious composition of warm stone, faded rose plaster, and terracotta roofs, all dominated by the proud, soaring form of a bell tower that is a perfect, homesick echo of Venice. This is Piran, or Pireno in the language that still lingers in its soul. She is not Slovenian by birth, but by the strange fortunes of 20th century history. In her heart, in the very marrow of her ancient stones and the soft singing cadence of her dialect, she is a child of the Venetian Republic. She is the last perfectly preserved daughter of La Serenissima on this stretch of the Istrian coast, a living museum of a lost maritime empire. To visit Piran is not just to see a beautiful town. It is to be seduced by it, to learn its moods, to listen to its stories, and to fall under the spell of its profound, enduring, and slightly melancholy charm. On a hot afternoon in July, Piran seems to hold her breath. The brilliant, almost violent Adriatic sun bleaches the color from the sky and drives life into the cool, shaded labyrinth of her narrow lanes. The great, marble-paved expanse of Tartini Square lies shimmering and almost empty, waiting for the evening to breathe life back into its stones. The only sounds are the cry of swifts arcing high overhead, the gentle rhythmic lapping of the water against the harbor walls, and the distant drowsy hum of a fishing boat. This is the town in its siesta, in a state of quiet contemplation, dreaming of its long and dramatic past. Her heart, without question, is Tartini Square. This magnificent, elliptical open space is one of the most beautiful squares on the entire Mediterranean coast. It is so grand, so perfectly proportioned, that it feels less like a town square and more like a vast, open-air ballroom, its dance floor paved in gleaming white marble. Yet, this elegant space was born from mud and brine. For centuries, this was not a square at all, but the town's inner harbor, a protected basin where fishing boats would unload their catch and take shelter from storms. It was a place of work, of grit, of the pungent smell of fish and salt water. In the late 19th century, in a grand gesture of civic modernization, the stagnant harbor was filled in, creating the magnificent public space we see today. This transformation from a working dock to a noble piazza is the story of Piran itself, a story of constant refinement, of turning the raw materials of daily life into something beautiful. At the center of the square, standing on a high pedestal, is the figure who presides over it all, Piranese most famous and beloved son, the great Baroque composer and violinist, Giuseppe Tartini. Born here in 1692, Tartini was a virtuoso of international renown, a master of the violin whose technical brilliance was matched only by the passionate, often tempestuous nature of his compositions. His statue captures him in a moment of artistic inspiration, violin in hand, gazing thoughtfully towards the sea that was the backdrop of his youth. He is most famous for his Devil's Trill Sonata, a work of fiendish difficulty and haunting beauty. The legend behind the piece, which Tartini himself recounted, is that the devil appeared to him in a dream, took his violin, and played a sonata of such exquisite superhuman beauty that it left the composer breathless. Upon waking, Tartini desperately tried to recapture the melody, but he always maintained that his own brilliant composition was but a pale shadow of the music he had heard in his dream. This story, of a genius wrestling with a diabolical muse, seems perfectly at home in this town of dramatic light and shadow. Tartini's statue is more than a monument. It is the town's tribute to its own artistic soul, a recognition that its greatest export was not salt or fish, but music. The square itself is framed by a procession of handsome buildings that act as a kind of silent, appreciative audience to the central stage. There is the elegant white town hall, a 19th century creation in a neo-Renaissance style, and the courthouse. But the undisputed jewel of the square, the building that draws every eye, is the Venetian house, the Benejanka. This exquisite 15th century palace is a perfect example of Venetian Gothic architecture. Its facade a rich terracotta red, adorned with a magnificent carved balcony and elegant pointed arches. It is a slice of Venice itself, transported to the Slovenian coast. The house is also wrapped in a romantic legend. It is said that it was built by a wealthy Venetian merchant for his beautiful Pyrenees lover. The townspeople, prone to gossip, disapproved of the affair. In a magnificent gesture of defiance, the merchant had a stone relief placed between the two upper windows, bearing a poignant inscription: Lasa Perder. Let them talk. This single proud phrase encapsulates the spirit of the house and, perhaps, of Piran itself, a spirit of beauty, passion, and a quiet disregard for the opinions of the outside world. From the open heart of Tartini Square, the town begins its ascent. The land rises steeply behind the square, and the narrow streets climb the hill towards the town's spiritual crown, the Cathedral of St. George. The journey upward is a journey into a quieter, more sacred version of Piran. The main path winds past the elegant Minorite monastery with its beautiful, tranquil cloister, a perfect little haven of peace. Further up, the view begins to open up, offering tantalizing glimpses of the red roofs and the sparkling sea below. The cathedral itself stands on the crest of the hill, a solid, handsome structure that has watched over the town for centuries. But its most dramatic feature is the magnificent freestanding bell tower, or campanile, that stands beside it. The campanile is a deliberate and deeply nostalgic tribute to Venice. It is a near-perfect, scaled-down replica of the famous campanile in St. Mark's Square in Venice. For the sailors of Piran, who spent their lives sailing to and from the great lagoon city, this bell tower would have been a comforting, familiar sight, a piece of home on their own shoreline. Atop the tower, a gilded statue of the Archangel Michael serves as a weather vane, turning with the winds that blow across the Adriatic. To climb the bell tower is to be rewarded with the single most breathtaking view in all of Istria. From the top, the entire peninsula of Piran is laid out before you like a map. You can see the perfect fan-like shape of the old town, its dense cluster of terracotta roofs spreading out from the oval of Tartini Square. You see the harbor, the sea wall, and the vast shimmering expanse of the Adriatic. On a clear day, you can see the coastline of Italy to the west and the coast of Croatia to the south. It is a view that reveals Piran's strategic importance and its absolute, all-encompassing connection to the sea. From this high vantage point, you can also trace the impressive remnants of the town's medieval walls. The walls, first built in the 7th century and strengthened over time by the Venetians, once enclosed the entire town. Today, significant sections still snake up the hillside behind the cathedral, punctuated by powerful defensive towers. To walk along these restored ramparts is to understand the history of Piran as a coveted prize, a place whose beauty and prosperity had to be defended against pirates and rival powers. If the square is the town's heart and the cathedral its crown, then its true life is found in its veins, the labyrinth of narrow, winding streets and alleys that make up the body of the old town. To step off Tartini Square and into this maze is to enter a different world. The grand public space gives way to an intimate, almost secret environment. The streets are often too narrow for more than two people to walk abreast. Arches and vaulted passageways connect one lane to another, creating a cool, shaded world, a welcome respite from the summer sun. This is where the real, everyday life of Piran unfolds. It is a world of small, sensory details. Laundry is strung on lines between the tall houses, creating colorful, fluttering canopies against the blue sky. A lazy cat sleeps on a warm, worn stone step. The scent of garlic and olive oil drifts from an open kitchen window. From behind a closed door, you might hear the sound of a television or a family argument. The worn marble thresholds of the doorways speak of the countless generations who have passed through them. It is in these quiet, intimate moments that one feels the true, enduring pulse of the town. A source of Piran's historical wealth, the economic engine that paid for its beautiful palaces and churches, was not fish, but salt. For centuries, the vast salt pans of Secoblia, located in the nearby bay, were among the most important in the entire Mediterranean. Salt was the white gold of the Middle Ages, an essential preservative and a hugely valuable commodity. The Venetian Republic controlled the salt trade with a firm hand, and the production from the Pyrenees salt pans generated immense revenue, funding the town's development and making it a key asset in the Venetian maritime empire. Today, the salt pans are a protected nature park, a unique landscape where traditional salt production methods are still preserved. The sea remains the lifeblood of the town, but now its currency is tourism and the fresh seafood that fills the menus of the local restaurants. The picturesque harbor is still home to a small fleet of fishing boats. In the early morning, you can see the fishermen mending their nets, their movements practiced and unhurried, a ritual that has not changed in 1,000 years. To dine at a simple osteria by the harbor, eating a plate of freshly grilled sea bass or calamari, is to taste the very essence of Piran's long and intimate relationship with the Adriatic. The enduring magic of Piran is its powerful, transportive atmosphere. It does not just show you what a Venetian town was like, it allows you to feel it. The near-total absence of cars within the old town preserves a sense of peace and a connection to a more human scale of life. The soundscape is one of water, bells, and human voices, not of engines. To visit Piran is to step out of the frantic pace of the modern world and into a place that moves to a slower, more graceful rhythm. It is not simply a destination, it is a mood, a beautiful, sun-drenched, salty memory that lingers in the soul long after you have left its shores.